I see the wind. My role in the development of the Escape revolved around aerodynamics. An aerodynamicist walks the fine line between science and design. Aerodynamics is really an invisible art. You have to see it to understand it. Even as a little kid, I built a wind tunnel out of a cardboard box and a fan. One of the things I was really interested in as a child was racing and how aerodynamics played a role in that. So when I finally built my homemade wind tunnel, I was able to visualize what I was so interested in. I got to really understand what wind going over a car looked like. And that to me was a life-changing moment, because here I am now. And that's the unique thing about aerodynamicists, is that you're essentially trying to take an invisible art and visualize it and conceptualize it and make it work.
My office is my car. My role in the new Ford Escape was to oversee the four-wheel drive development from beginning to end. As a kid, I really used to love watching Baja trophy truck races. I really appreciated the harsh, grueling environments and the amount of durability that they would actually have to withstand. Not all customers are going to need a vehicle that can handle Baja, that the customer has the confidence knowing that that vehicle will take them anywhere they need to go. We test our vehicles in all kinds of different environments. We go to these extremes so that the customer doesn't have to. I feel lucky to work at Ford, because if I wasn't doing these things for work, I'd just be doing them in my garage.
I'm an efficiency expert. My role in the development of the Escape is the design and testing of the EcoBoost engines. Outside of work, I'm an avid fisherman, and I take a lot of those parallels back to work. One of the great things about fishing is I spend a lot of time with my kids. It's actually a great metaphor for EcoBoost. My oldest son, who's very big and strong, it's all about power. My younger son, it's more about being efficient. Not having the power available, he really has to use the techniques to bring the fish in. It's just like EcoBoost. It's not just about power, it's also about efficiency.
I'm an optimizer. My role in the development of the Escape was in the early stages. I'm a program engineering leader. Program engineering leader is responsible for coordinating all the efforts of the program between the business side of it, the studio side, and the engineering side. One of my passions is triathlon. The essence of triathlon is about balance. There's an old triathlon saying, there's no such thing as a great bike and a bad run. The same thing applies to engineering. When the teams are all working together, we're finding the right balance between the studio styling of the vehicle, the engineering, the business. Everything is in harmony, and we're building the right product and putting it on the road.
I'm an observer. I like to watch people and see how they interact with the world around them. So I find inspiration for work in my everyday life all the time. So when I'm watching people, I actually look for when they're having problems, because I think that's a little bit more telling than when it's easy. So if I'm at the supermarket, it's very common to just strike up a conversation with someone in front of me. Or often I watch the way they will interact with the checkout process. So if they're doing the self-checkout and they're playing with the touch screen, I see how do they use it? Where are they getting stuck? What's not making sense? I got kind of lucky when I got the opportunity to work on such an interactive system, and I was able to work on the touch screens and the voice rec systems and the switches in the vehicle, because that meant I had an impact on what they did every day.
So one of the things I have to constantly remind myself of is that I'm not necessarily the typical customer. I spend a lot of time looking at electronics and navigation systems.
So I look at that, I figure out what trends, what are people saying, what's important to them. And then I try and figure out how that can work its way into the vehicle.
I'm an explorer. I'm a research scientist in the active safety department. I think in today's world, people forget the value of long-term research, because when you pursue topics of great endeavor, oftentimes you find things you never expect along the way. There's value going down a blind alley. In the journey of doing it, you often find things that you don't expect to find. It's really cool to have the opportunity to work on things that don't demand immediate results, and you can take the time to think big about things.